as long as we're always trying to get better, that we're not ever sitting back there. Every single year we're trying to improve, for me, our football program, and certainly our athletic department. As Mike always said, we always talked about getting better, and I think that's why we made a lot of progress here. Right. And the thing Mike has done since the day we got here, every year after the season's over, we set goals. I have goals to build. I have goals, how are we going to make ourselves better academically, and certainly from a football standpoint. But really goals for our program, and facilities are hugely important. Salaries are hugely important, and vision to be great. And I want to have a great program. So that's all I want. I just want to make sure we get somebody in here that wants to continue those kind of efforts. And this is a great university, but I got a lot higher goals for our football program than we are right now.
Just your initial reaction when you heard the news about Mike.
Well, I was surprised. Obviously, he's the guy who brought me here, and I've known Mike. I was actually here when he got here, and now I'm here when he left. I wasn't here much in between, but I'm really happy for him. Disappointed that we won't be able to continue this journey together, but I'm really thrilled for he and Rocky and Jake. And he's a teacher. I've known that from the time I met him, and he loves to teach. So I wish him the best, and I'm glad he's still going to be around, and I know he'll do well.
How does this affect you? I mean, you come in, you're relatively new, and now you're going to have basically a new boss. Can you talk about kind of how you're feeling about this transition?
Well, obviously you hate to see Mike leave, and Mike's been so good to me in my short time here this time. But I go to work every day, and I'll be excited. I know Chancellor Loftin will do a great job in selecting a new athletic director, and look forward to working with whoever that person is.
Can you just tell me your initial reaction when you heard the news?
Yeah, I was really surprised. I didn't see it coming at all, but I know decisions like this, they're not off the cuff. And when Mike talked to me, he had said that him and Rocky had talked about this for some time. So although I was a little surprised, I don't know that there's too many people in that inner circle that were aware of what was going on.
He brought you here. Talk about the support that he's given to you and your program.
He's just an amazing person. He's a great leader. He's a fearless leader. His drive, his work ethic, his ability to mentor, to lead, to challenge. And all that being said, he's been a great friend. I think he truly embraced and understood where we're at as a program, and he has been so supportive through the process of trying to build our women's basketball program.
I don't know if you've gone through this before, where you've gone through an AD transition, but is there some trepidation from a coach's standpoint when there's a change like this?
I have been through it before. I feel really confident where we're at as a women's basketball program. I feel very confident where we're at as an athletic department, as a university, the core values that we have, and I feel like Dr. Loftin is going to do a phenomenal job of bringing in the right guy that fits the Mizzou brand. And so as sad as we are to see Mike leave, I know we're really excited about the future too.
Loftin, I know you touched on this a little bit, but are you leaning one way or the other as to whether or not to use a search firm?
I used a search firm before. When I chose the last AD I hired at Texas A&M, I used a national search firm then. I was okay with that selection. It worked out well for me. I can't tell you I'll do that this time, but it's likely.
What are the advantages? Just a
advantages
question.
Are, first of all, confidentiality. These search firms, if you pick the right one, have reputations. They're based essentially on being confidential about a search. They also have access. They have all the cell phone numbers of all the people out there that could be public candidates for this job. So they can go out with your input as far as what you want. They can talk to a variety of people. In the case of my last search, it was maybe 40 were talked to. They brought me 4. Then I did the rest of it at that point in time. So that's a process I found quite successful in my last search for an AD.
Is there a need to have Mike involved in this at all, or does he have other things to focus on?
Mike, I think, will be a sounding board for me if I want it. I can go to him and say, what do you think? I certainly have already talked to him a lot about the things he believes are important. You heard him say them today, in fact, in front of you earlier. Those things factor into my own thinking about this. We're on the same page. He and I have like-mindedness about how we see this program being directed. So that's why I had such comfort with him. We think alike about what we expect to be the important issues of a program of our nature. And I don't want to deviate from that. So we've already had a lot of conversations about this. I probably won't need a lot more with him to be able to go forward with the search process now.
I got to tell you that Mike Slive, I'm going to answer your question, but Mike Slive, one of the great leaders in all of sport. I will tell you, I did call Commissioner Slive personally, and I'm very close with him. I am. He's like a guy that I've looked up to for many years, but that's certainly not something that I would look towards to do. It really isn't. And I know that the SEC is going to recruit a tremendous commissioner, but it's going to be tough. Those are tough shoes to fill. So where I was you guys really interested in this? Yeah. Okay, so where I was on our farm. Rocky and I were back here on our farm in Williamsburg, Missouri, okay, which is in Callaway County. And so this is in 1998. So Jake is 2.5, 3 years old. We're on our farm, and on one of our buildings, we're building an addition. We're building an addition. Now my dad, I mentioned my dad, was a construction worker his whole life, and my dad's sitting in this, I'm going to get to my point here. My dad's sitting in this chair. This is on July 1st, sitting in this chair, one of those web chairs. It's like 2 in the afternoon. It's 90 degrees. And he's sitting in the chair. He's got a cigarette in one hand and a Bud Light in the other. And he's instructing my brother John, who I talked about what we're doing. We're putting a roof onto a building. So here's my brother John. Now he's the doctor. So my dad's sitting, smoking a cigarette, drinking a beer. My brother John's sitting, down there telling me, okay, do this. And where am I? I'm on the ridge pole. If you're familiar with roofs, the ridge pole is that pole that runs right down the middle and you tie the rafters in it. So I'm straddling the ridge. So that shows you the pecking order. My dad's doing this, my brother's here, and I'm straddling the ridge pole. And I don't have a shirt on. I got my shorts, I got my boots on, I'm sweating. And Rocky comes down the road, and she said, Mike, Richard Wallace is on the phone for you. Seriously. I'm like, what am I going to do? So I scramble down, and I run out and talk to him on the phone, and he said, hey, I don't want to meet you in Columbia. Too many media members in Columbia is what he did say that. Too many media members, and people will know what's going on. Do you know where Gasper's truck stop is? And I said, I do, and he didn't know that my Uncle Jack had dated Lottie Gasper's daughter, right? So, I mean, this is all like in the family. So I go there on July 4th. I had a pair of shorts on, because that's all I had, right? And a golf shirt. No, I borrowed a pair of slacks from somebody, golf shirt. We sat there. He had like biscuits and gravy or something. I had an egg over easy. We sat there. There's my story.